want to once again, on behalf of Mtn Ghana, say a big welcome to you all. It is wonderful to see you all again. Enjoy the session. Thank you.
All right, so before our CEO speaks, we're going to listen to a very young, talented, beautiful lady who is a poet, and she's put together some beautiful words. Please pay attention as well. Like Nee said, there will be surprises. I like the surprises part. So with a big round of applause, please let's welcome Aku Sika Frimpoma.
Penny for me chiamunyana. Ada rotonton sansai. Aku Sika Frimpoma me shisheni yumwedo na mebo. Atiti nkonya simpri mu ada hwene mu atetena ase. Mediane na na Aku Sika Frimpoma akoto brochure amenya meche. Sende midina ha na yese Mtn Ghana semenhia. Senka yenhia mwanki yebeye deni. MTN mwedanso wo mu mfefuo mu. MTN mwenim ne mwachi obiani ho. Mudamufu apreko pe. C.E.O. Nyansani Salome. Bema Nyansani Nyansabu akwa Nyansabu nkuma kentem so. Bema Nyansafu edujina kasamprebe boso to boponto penkroma boponda na so crossma mansanchi akumedidwadi. Salom Nyansani bajema benyansafu odudu eja odudu obribie wacha yansa no kwasem enye nwanwa ese wo ka members ne ho a omo wo ALN Nyankopon enhira wadi omanim ewo e free say ye 2018 ese C.E.O. Emma Mtn Ghana no wabad be soup wame yahunu ne say yadom wakokono yama uchiremre kukusaria ubetumi are yama wasaye wetumi de abodade so onimonyamfo selom asusu Nyankopon enhira Mtn Ghana mobile no mama nipa nam ene won komu ajo won ye wo MTN mobile money answer ha ya senya ayoba answer ha me to you pay for me bibia bi wo MTN ene ye ntwa kwan enkwa achichi ese ye koyi sika ye ntwa kwan enhwe se obi nsende ye sika ansane ya tekrata bi akwa kogina bank na emomu no merchant wo ha ya yetimi ye sika na ye MTN adaroma MTN yesemwanim ne mwachi obia ni ho modamufua MTN kokroboti yesam ho bopa enyeye kutoka sambronu se mensam se MTN moye matchless moye sizeless moye stupendous mwankasa de yeka yesem mwankasa ne mwara moye extremely impressive. Oh papa penyin Nyansani Salome adumankoma Nyankopon onhira Andomo onwao che ukonya nimdie ewo Ken University ekosia civil engineering anso ha wasa akoye ewo University of Pennsylvania anyamu nimdie nyina de boa yakase ye ba telecommunication eba business mu na eba consultant wo Africa ewo Caribbean UK US ni nyina wadi makotire honorable Salom anase CEO Salom Onyankopon sha wayebi Ghana eni wiase nyina ade wasedaka MTN mwanim ne mwachimisi obiani ho yedamas.
Wow. She just reminded me of the wow moments, you know. This is wow. Frimpoma Aku Sika. Let's happily welcome our CEO, Mr. ADADEVOR, as we get his word. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Police Commander, good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. And thanks for ushering us through this session and accepting our invitation to moderate. And of course, to the journalists, to the radio team, the online team, the print team, the TV team, welcome. It's great to be here today. I hope you can hear me okay. Like Nas said, that was a wow moment, and I think Frimpoma should come so we take a picture before we start. So Frimpoma, if you don't mind, please come back. thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to the next few minutes. I will be standing here most of the time because I have my presentation on here. Okay. So we have about 45 minutes and I will share some highlights on the business, and I would also share our next steps forward, what you can expect over the next few years for MTN. At the end, we'll have some questions and answers, so you can just note your questions as we go through, and at the end, we'll answer them. I'd like to first of all also acknowledge my team, all the MTN staff here today, those that have worked so hard to put this together. A big round of applause to Gina and the team. And also for those who are joining us to support us, thanks for joining us today. And I'm looking forward to the next 45 minutes and beyond. So we'll go through these topics. This is the content and how we'll walk through the presentation today. I won't spend too much time here. As you can see, NA doesn't allow you to go over time, so I need to make sure I don't. So we'll go through 7 or 8 different topics. Like I said at the end, we will take some questions and answers. So who are we? MTN. So first of all, I was very happy with the presentations and all the different styles, from the radio team, the print team, the TV team. A lot of what you've already done online, I haven't forgotten you. A lot of what you've done is covered here. So, it means we can go a lot faster as well because you've already covered a lot of the key things. So hopefully I can share a little bit more than you already know to at least enlighten us all about where we're going. So who are we? And this was an important quote because it captures how we think about the business today. So Ghana's leading mobile network operator, providing voice, data, fintech, digital, enterprise, wholesale, and API services. Our strategic intent is to lead digital solutions for Africa's progress. So this is how we think about the business today and where we're trying to go from a strategic intent purpose. A lot of our activities going forward are based on this strategic intent and how we see ourselves. And these are the list of services and categories that we also want to focus on to continue to grow this business forward. We'll see more on the next few slides. As most of you know, we launched a new strategy called Ambition 2025 last year, January, February last year. And Ambition 2025 came about around when the pandemic was happening, and we realized that our strategy to become a digital operator by 2023 was no longer relevant. COVID had accelerated digitization by between 3 to 5 years, and therefore our plan to become a digital operator didn't make sense anymore. But then the second thing is we also realized during the pandemic that becoming a digital operator means that MTN becomes digital, but not necessarily the ecosystem around us. So Ambition 2025 basically says we will become a digital operator as MTN, but we cannot do that effectively without influencing the ecosystem. Others also have to become more digital. So how do we create the right platforms, the right services, the right tools, so that not only MTN becomes digital, but the ecosystem around us also becomes digital? And to do that, we've created 5 platforms that would be the enablers of the ecosystem digitization. And I'll share some thoughts about these 5 platforms on the next slide. So these are the 5 platforms. And in one of the presentations, I think it was the first team, they talked about the 5 platforms. Now also talked about the names on the tables. She called it the 5 pillars. It's the same thing, the 5 platforms. The first one is fintech. All of us know fintech, mobile money, and all of that. But the thing about fintech is mobile money, when we think of mobile money, we think of sending money from one person to another. But there's a lot more we can do beyond sending money from one person to another. Okay? So today, there is a small company in Kumasi who sells shoes. He makes shoes and he sells shoes at Asafo. Someone in Accra cannot buy his shoes in Asafo unless they come to Kumasi. But this person can put his shoes online and connect to mobile money so that someone in Accra can buy the shoe and then he can send the shoe from Kumasi to Accra. For that small business to connect to mobile money, they have to come to mobile money's office and come and ask us plenty questions, come and fill forms. Our engineers will say, okay, let me connect to your website. It's very painful, so he will never do it. So some of the things we're focusing on now, when I talk about the ecosystem, is what can I put in place so that this shoe seller in Kumasi, who hasn't gone to IT school, can still connect to mobile money even with his limited knowledge of IT. So something called Open API so that people can connect. But how do I make it simple enough? Or something as simple as creating a merchant wallet for this shoe seller so that he can just apply for this merchant wallet and then he's online. So we have different types of services that allow people without IT skills or limited IT skills to connect very easily so that they can also expand their business, they can target a different customer, they can sell online, offline, and they can target people in and outside of their physical location. So all of this enables economic prosperity, it enables growth for this small business, and it also enables digitization. And that's what the platform is all about. So a lot of the things we think about when we say fintech to become a platform is going beyond transferring from one person to another. It's all the other things we can do beyond transferring from one person to another. Nano loans, micro loans, lending, these are all services that go beyond sending money from one person to another. The second pillar is Ayoba. And again, Ayoba is an app, but I'll stay on ecosystem. What does ecosystem mean? Today, if I take an app, I go to the app and I access the service on the app. What we're saying is, this shoe seller in Kumasi, he now also has his app. But how does he get people to download his app? Okay? He doesn't know anyone. He puts it on Google Play, Apple Play, but no one is downloading his app. So we've created a platform called Ayoba, which basically says, this app from this shoe seller, I will put it on Ayoba, and anyone who has Ayoba immediately has access to this app from this shoe seller. So that's one app. We can do 2 apps, 3 apps, 10 apps, 20 apps, 30 apps, 40 apps, 100 apps, all from local businesses who want to get people to see and access their product. So if Ayoba has 2 million customers today, immediately you put your app into Ayoba, you have access to 2 million customers. If Ayoba has 10 million customers, as soon as you put your app in Ayoba, you have access to 10 million customers. That's why we call it a platform, and we also say that it's expanding the ecosystem, because a lot of people today their challenge is, how do I get access as a small SME to 10 million people? I don't know if there's any radio station here that can give you 10 million people immediately you put something online. So these are mechanisms to accelerate the ecosystem, and that's really where we're going with Ayoba. That's why Ayoba is such a powerful app. We'll talk a little bit more about Ayoba. The third one is enterprise. And enterprise has different services. We talk about Internet of Things, this is a bit technical. Security for small businesses. We talk about cloud services. These are all things that small companies today need to compete. We all know that very soon trading in Ghana will no longer be that attractive. We have to figure out a way to trade in West Africa. For you to be successful going beyond Ghana, even in Ghana, to be successful here now, people care about some of these things. Security, what other services you have. So how can we enable the SME ecosystem so that they can get access to basic IT services or technology services that would make them competitive? It would make them secure, it would make them more efficient, it will make them grow faster. So these are all services we're putting together so that we can support that industry, so that they in turn can be more effective and more attractive, and they can compete better within the sub-region. The fourth pillar is the name of where I'm sitting, Network as a Service. Most of you heard in April, we put in the media a statement that we had a partnership with Vodafone on national roaming. Most of you heard it, right? We're doing a pilot in the Volta region, and we're hoping to extend that nationwide. We're also in discussions with other operators, and hopefully in the next few weeks we'll announce the next partnership. But Network as a Service, one of the teams said that MTN has the largest network, over 4,000 sites. We have the widest coverage. Today, population coverage for 2G is over 99%. Population coverage for 3G is over 97%. And population coverage for 4G is over 90%. But how do we create more access for all Ghanaians beyond an MTN customer? So Network as a Service basically says we are willing to share this infrastructure that has given us this level of population coverage with all the other operators in the market. What this means is, as a country, we grow faster in terms of our IT enablement. As a country, we get more access to people in all parts of Ghana, remote areas, urban areas, peri-urban areas. Because even where your operator isn't, you can still get access through the MTN network. And that's the whole idea of sharing your infrastructure. It also means that where MTN isn't, we can also give our customers access through our other operators' network. It means that very quickly we can expand the infrastructure in the country. We can share, which means it will cost us less as an industry to advance our technology infrastructure. And this is something that's very important if we're going to get to become a competitive IT country. Then we have to be more efficient in how we build our infrastructure. So that's Network as a Service. The final one is Chinosis, otherwise known as Chinosis. Because last year I tried to explain Chinosis in Chi, and it was a disaster. Those of you who were here last year, who was here last year? Hey, no hands, are you asleep? Hopefully someone was here last year, a few of you. So you all remember what Chinosis is from last year, those who were here. Does someone want to come and volunteer to explain? Someone who was here last year, any volunteers to come and explain Chinosis? No volunteers? Okay. Chinosis is straightforward. Let me explain. today I'll say very simply, we'll move to the next one. To connect to different services on the internet, there is a connector that you need. You know, it's like you have a device and you want to charge it. You need something to plug into the power source. So online, to connect to MTN, to connect to Ghana Commercial Bank, you need something called a connector. And that connector allows you to configure your system to connect to these services. But to find the connector, like Ghana Commercial Bank connector, Obekoma head office or Accra, Obekoma IT manager. So the challenge is there is nowhere where you can go and find the connector. So what MTN is saying is, let me create a platform, and I will go to Ghana Commercial Bank. I will go to Green something event, collect Greenwood, collect their connector, put it all in one place. So today, you don't have to go to Accra, you don't have to go to Obuasi, to Gold Mines. You can go to this box and you have all the connectors you need, and you choose which one you want and you connect. So it's a one-stop shop for these connectors, and the connectors are called APIs. But don't worry, it's just a connector, okay? So that's what Chinosis is. It brings all the connectors together into one place, and then people can go to that one place and then they can access the services. This will accelerate digitization because the small company, the SMEs, those are the ones we're really worried about. They can't go to all these companies to get their connectors. Nobody will listen to them. But now they'll have access to these things and they can develop their software, they can develop their applications, and they can incorporate and connect to all these companies, and they can provide services on behalf of the companies. And that's what Chinosis is. This is where technology fails, because I have facial recognition that doesn't work anymore, so I think I may need to shave or something. So at the heart of our ambition is driving digital and financial inclusion to enhance the quality of lives of Ghanaians, the quality of life of Ghanaians. So again, this is really everything we're trying to do. These 5 platforms, ultimately, it's about digital and financial inclusion. But all of that to improve the quality of life of Ghanaians. Let's move to the next section that talks a little bit about our new brand. I will spend very little time here. The marketing team are much better placed to talk about this. I see a few of them in the room. But we launched a new brand last year. And a lot of this was about how do we inspire people to do? And we all know doing makes things happen. So this new positioning is about doing and inspiring Ghanaians to go out there and do. You have a great idea, you're sitting in your house, but you want something to happen. Nothing will happen. You just have to go out there and start doing. And when you start doing, things happen. I'm sure there are people in this room who had something in their mind. They were worried about how they're going to fund it, where they're going to get money from. But trust me, if you just sit there asking all these questions, you will never find answers. As soon as you start doing, you will start to see that things start to get answered for you. So this is about inspiring people to do. Go out there and do. So we always ask the question, what are you doing today? And that's what it means. Because if you stop doing, then you stop doing. If you know what I mean. Okay. So we'll cover a few slides that look at different ways we've presented this new brand. And the screen is not very good, so I'm not sure you can see these pictures. But these are different representations of the brand, of the new brand positioning on billboards, media, print. Some of you would have seen them already in your publications. So, let's talk a little bit about some of our memories from previous years as well. Some of the things we've celebrated in the last few years. As most of you know, 2021 was a special year for MTN. Who knows why? Who knows why 2021 was a special year for MTN? 25th anniversary. I think we should take his name and give him something special. Thank you very much. 25th anniversary. So we'll find out. Make sure we give you something special. So last year, 25 years since MTN came into this country. And we had to celebrate 25 years of impacting lives of Ghanaians. And before I joined MTN, I was one of those who was impacted. So thanks to MTN. But MTN has done a lot, bringing technology, giving us access. You know, we take some of these things for granted, you know? Even when you come in here and I say, put your phones down for the next 2 hours, you will see what people will say. Why? Nothing will happen to you if you put your phones down, right? But it's a problem today. Even when we want to take away your phones for an hour for a meeting, people are scared. I don't know what they are scared about. That one, MTN didn't do it. MTN was just helping solve a problem. But we are able to connect so easily now that we've even forgotten what it was like before all of this happened. And that's what 25 years of being in Ghana is all about. We've simplified lives. We've allowed people to connect, express love, express feelings. We've allowed people to borrow and pay back, by the way. You don't just borrow, you pay back too. So we allow you to pay back, not just borrow. But all of these things are happening. And it's all about improving quality of life and simplifying lives. So thank you, MTN. Just a few pictures of some of the celebrations at the launch and some other pictures to remind us of the 25-year journey. Now let's watch a short video which will be about the new brand. Please enjoy it. I hope the volume works. Oops, sorry. Let's try again. So let's move to the next section, which talks about transforming our network and some of the things we've done in the country to support the digital drive. So first of all, last year, as part of our 25th anniversary, I made a commitment on behalf of MTN that we would invest at least $1 billion in network infrastructure by the year 2025. $1 billion, oh. Not 1 million or 1 billion, and it's not a typo. So $1 billion by the year 2025. And why are we doing this? Yes, someone will say, MTN will put 1 billion, they'll make money. And those of you who are financial analysts, you would see that every year when we post our performance, people say, look at MTN's profits. Hey, go for it. I don't want to say it because then you carry it. Say MTN CEO said it. But go for it. Hey! 2020 profit was 1.4 billion cedis. But that year, we also invested $209 million, which was about 1.3 billion cedis. Okay? Last year, 2021, profit was 2 billion cedis. This year, we're investing $220 million, which at the time was about 1.5 billion cedis. But today it's now about 1.7 billion cedis. So we invest a significant amount of what we make. So please, when you see those numbers and you say MTN, hey, I beg, also say, hey, MTN, hey, invest, hey. Then it's balanced. But if you just talk about the A on the profit, but you don't talk about the A on the investment, then it's not balanced. So I hope it's clear. But this is what we're doing with the 1.5 billion cedis this year, which is now 1.7, because since we started the year, all of you know the cedi has devalued. And therefore, to spend $220 million, we need more cedis. I talked about our network coverage, 2G 99 point something percent, 3G 97 point something percent, and then 4G 90 point something percent. We've covered all the regions, all the district capitals, all the districts, with 4G, 260 districts, we have 4G everywhere. Last year alone, we increased population coverage for 5.3 million Ghanaians from expanding our network, and we'll continue to do this. We have approximately 400 rural telephony sites, and this allows us to get into the region. We're now in partnership with GIFEC to extend rural telephony. As you know, there's a national rural telephony project that we're part of. In terms of fiber, we have over about 8,800 kilometers of fiber. And we continue to invest very heavily in fiber. And for those who are technical, undersea cables, we have 320 gigabits per second of undersea cable capacity. Now, undersea cable, basically what happens is, every time you go to Google and you search for something, it tries to determine where the content of what you are searching for is. In Ghana today, most of the content we download comes from, do you know where it comes from? Somebody should guess. Anybody want to guess? Where does the content come from? Is it from Ghana, Nigeria, America, UK, Ukraine, Russia? Sorry? South Africa? Okay, no. Another try. Sorry? Ghana? Most of our content is from Ghana? No, not at all. US, UK, someone has cheated. They've combined the two options. But the cheating is the right answer. So please give her a round of applause. Since she's the moderator, she doesn't get an award. So, but thank you. Yes, most of our content comes from US, UK. But either way, if you take our content that comes from outside of Ghana, it's over 90-something%. It's a lot of our content. But if the content is not here, then you have to go through undersea cables, which are cables that take us under the sea. Ghana is connected through different countries in the world to bring the content back, and it's very expensive. What do you think will happen if a lot of our content was in Ghana? We won't need 320 gigabits per second, right? Which means we won't pay for 320 gigabits per second. So what do you think will happen to the cost of data? It'll be cheaper, okay? So if we consumed content locally, we won't need all those resources that we pay for today. And therefore, our cost of data will also be cheaper. If you go to the UK, someone say, oh, Ghana are expensive. Let's compare to America. Let's compare to the UK. And then they'll do all these analyses. But what they forget is that in the UK, they consume content that's from the UK. In the US, they consume content that's from the US. Secondly, all of them have, I said we have 8,800 kilometers of fiber. These guys have over 300,000 kilometers of fiber. Fiber is also cheaper. When you have fiber all over the country, you can transmit a lot of data very cheaply on that one cable. So these are all the things that contribute towards data and why it's maybe not as affordable as we would like. But you know, if you think about Africa, Ghana is probably number 3 in terms of cheapest country for data. There are different benchmarks that have been created. But in all of that, Ghana is somewhere at the top when it comes to the cost of data. We're one of the cheapest, despite all of that. So we're doing really well. But again, once we're able to support through platforms like Genosis, where small enterprises can build more local content so people can consume. All of these things are geared towards localization for local consumption. If we can achieve that, then we'll continue to accelerate the improvements in pricing for data as we go forward. Okay, the next few slides talk about some of our challenges. We haven't had it easy. Even the 8,800 of fiber, if you look at how many fiber cuts we have had this year, it's over 900. They keep cutting the fiber. So let me give an example. I have 1,000 cedis to lay new fiber. Before I can spend the 1,000 cedis, they've cut the one I laid yesterday. What do I do with 1,000 cedis? Okay, so I take the 1,000 cedis and I fix the one they cut yesterday. Okay? I spend 300 cedis of my 1,000. So now I only have 700. I go and spend 500, and then before I finish the 500, they've cut another fiber. So the 200 that's left, I used to go and fix the old one. So I could have increased my fiber by 1,000 cedis, but now I've increased it by 500 because we keep cutting the fiber. And when you cut the fiber, it's MTN's problem. MTN has to pay for it to fix it. When they cut the fiber and you take your phone, you're about to make a call, the network is down. And they say MTN network enye. But that's not a problem. The problem is we're not looking after the assets of telecoms companies to make sure that the network can be up. Unless we now deploy a military force to look after our fiber. Not possible. So we need us as Ghanaians supporting us. That's all we need. We need the media to support us, to let people understand that when you're building a new house and you see some cables, you don't just cut them because you want to build your wall. You can raise these things. There's a chamber, there's the police, all of them. They'll help you figure out the best way to make sure we get the right attention. We can relocate the cable. It would take a few days, and then you can continue building your wall. But what happens is you just cut it and then move on. And then we suffer, your family suffers, everybody suffers. So these are some of the things we're trying to do, and hopefully all of this will help us do more with the 1,000 cedis we have. And today, that's one of the reasons we're not moving as fast as we can, because we're spending too much money fixing the things that we've already spent money on. There was a lot of talk about digital, my MTN, and other things. So let's move into the next section where we talk about some of the things we're doing. My MTN has 2 versions. There, my MTN and then my MTN Lite. And what my MTN Lite is basically, some phones don't have enough memory. when you go to download the app, it will tell you insufficient memory. You've received that message before, right? And it will tell you to uninstall some apps and then try again. So when you have insufficient memory and all the apps on your phone, you like them, so you can't uninstall, we're still saying you can still use my MTN Lite because it allows you to just access the internet every time you're on the app, and it doesn't download the full app. So you can still use the service. So MTN Lite is for phones and people who don't have enough memory so that you can use the service. And it's one of the new things we've just launched. Chatbots are these automated robots, as you can call them, who help you with your service. And ours is called Ziggy. I don't know how many people have talked to Ziggy before. So Ziggy like Siri. So Ziggy, if you go to our website, you find Ziggy. If you go to WhatsApp, you find Ziggy. So if you put our number into WhatsApp, Ziggy shows up. And then you can chat with Ziggy. You can say, I want to know my balance. I want to know the last few calls I made. You can chat with Ziggy. You can just type what you want and Ziggy will respond. But this is to improve service. You don't have to go and go through an IVR and do all of these things just to check some of these basic things. We also have Ziggy on all our different channels. Social media, Twitter, WhatsApp are coming. Currently, if you call the call center, Ziggy is also there helping you for basic problems before you get to an agent. So it's quite powerful, but Ziggy is going to get very popular. Ziggy can handle about 5,000 people at a time, and it's going to get even higher very soon. So Ziggy has enough capacity to handle all your problems, and hopefully you don't even have these problems to come back. The third one is the e-shop. For those of you who want to buy and check things like fiber, you can go to the e-shop and it will tell you whether you have fiber where you are, and if you don't have fiber, what options you have, a 4G router and other things, and you can order, and everything happens through this platform. You can pay, you can do everything. And very soon it will be even more sophisticated. And the website is broadband.mtn.com.gh. I'm sure we'll share some of this information so you would have it later on. broadband.mtn.com.gh. We talked about Ayoba. Today we have 10 million customers on Ayoba in Africa. 10 million. So like I said, that shoe seller in Kumasi, Asafo, who puts his micro app on Ayoba, if he does that today, he'll get 10 million users on Ayoba, not in Ghana, not in West Africa, but in Africa. Ghana is about 20% of that today. And hopefully in the next few months, as we continue to drive growth on this platform, we'll be talking about 100 million customers very soon in Africa and 20 million in Ghana. Amen. Yeah. So that's where we're going. That's where we want to get to, right? Because if we have 20 million in Ghana, this will become the largest platform in this country, beyond no other, right? It will be the largest platform in this country. We talk a little bit about mobile advertising. She knows some of the services we launched. So mobile advertising allows us to use the information we have to support small companies that are looking to advertise and reach certain types of customers. And again, this is a very powerful platform for startups. And we talk a lot about how do we enable the ecosystem around us. And some of the biggest barriers to small companies is access. Access to customers, access to advertising, access to platforms. So any way we can build some of these platforms to support, get over these barriers is really how we're thinking about the business. So more advertising, for example, allows us to do that. Chinosis allows us to do that. And that's essentially the thinking behind some of the things we're putting there. We've seen, again, Momo API, I talked about this, same as Chinosis. The only difference is that it's only the mobile money APIs that are there. But today you can go to the Momo API website. If you just type in Momo API in Google, it will take you to the Momo API website. And you can find how to connect to mobile money services. That's where the connectors are. We've put all these connectors online. You don't have to come to the office. You don't have to talk to the CEO. You can just go there and you can connect. And once you connect, we'll authorize the connection and on you go, working with your business. So these are all innovations that allow us to accelerate innovation and to remove the barriers of bureaucracy that may sit between us and our customers today. Or at least in the old days where you had to take a car, come to our office, do all of this just to get something small done. We're trying to take all of that away and make sure that people have more control, not just from a service standpoint, but also from a business and ecosystem enablement standpoint. Let's give control to you so that you can direct and drive your own life, your own business, and your own growth. The next slide just summarizes most of the things I've talked about already. So we can move on to the next section. The next section is a section that I'm very passionate about, and there are a few people in this room who are equally passionate. One of the teams talked about MTN has done a lot, but there is still room for improvement. And I want to just say that I agree with you 100%. There's a lot we want to do, there's a lot we can do, and there's a lot we're going to be doing. So just watch this space. But customer experience is a big area of focus for us, and we're in the process of relaunching our commitment to you when it comes to customer experience. But I'll share a few things we're doing so far in terms of customer experience. The first pillar of customer experience is access. Access to our services, and how can we give the right level of access for everyone. And we know sometimes people have to travel long distances to get to our service centers because we have a certain number of service centers. So Shaibu and his team have been rolling out light retail stores, which are smaller versions of our shops, so that we can have many of these all over the country. 306 touch points have been rolled out so far and counting. We're going to be rolling out more, so that we can limit the distance to service from remote areas and give people access to our services. We're hoping ultimately, at the same time we're saying, people don't always need to go to a service center to get service. So a big part of our strategy is to put controls in the hands of customers. So my MTN is an example, but not everybody has a smartphone. Today about 50% of our customers do not have a smartphone. So even when we give them my MTN, they can't use it. There are other tools on USSD, *175#, various tools that you can use to check what services you are subscribed to, and if you don't like the services, you can cancel. Or if you feel you didn't subscribe to them, you can cancel them. But these are all things we're doing to put control in the hands of customers, so you don't always have to go to a touch point to get service. You don't need to talk to anyone to get service. But there are things that people still need to talk to people about. Sometimes it's, I don't understand what I'm seeing, I need some help, or my issue is very complicated, I need some help. So we want to make sure that for these things, people get the help that they need. In addition to that, we want to make sure there are many people within the trade that can support. So we're talking about our distribution system through our distributors, having employed over 250,000 personnel just to support our customers. And again, this is a distribution. I know the slide is not too clear, the screen is not too clear. But these are all the things we're trying to do to make sure that people get service. But in addition to this, we also want to make sure that, someone said, how many of you have an iPhone? No iPhones. Okay. How many of you have a Samsung phone? Okay. How many of you have called the Samsung call center before? Anyone? No one. Why? Why haven't you called the Samsung call center before? Okay, so Nas says she doesn't need them. She's put the problem on us. Anyone else? You go there physically. Okay, so you've gone to the Samsung store to see them. Okay, so you're one. Anyone else gone to the...
They also send Yahoo notification.
Sorry?
They send their notification to you, the user.
Okay, they send notifications to you, the user, so you don't have to go to them. Okay, fantastic. Anyone else? Okay. So it's very interesting because these guys, they don't really have a lot of call center time available because you just don't need to go there. You know, they limit what you need from them. They put all the power in your hands, you know. I don't know how many of you have bought a new phone recently and noticed that there was a manual in the box. We don't even read the manuals anymore. You put the phone on, sometimes my phone, I couldn't turn it off. Instead of going to read the manual, I kept turning it upside down, pressing buttons, until I figured it out. Sometimes 2 weeks. Now, bread. But yeah, in kind manually. You know, because in our minds, it should be so simple that you don't need the manual. So when you can't do it, your ego kicks in. And it's like, this phone, no way, I'll do it. You see? So then your ego kicks in because in your mind, this thing has to be so simple that you do not need the manual. And that's where we need to get to for our product. To the point where you believe it's so simple that you don't need MTN's call center. That's where we need to get to. So again, the person who said there is room for improvement, this is the room for improvement. We need to get to a point where you no longer need us to solve your problems. You can solve your problems yourself. And hopefully, there will be no problems to be solved. But that's the journey we're on, and that's the ambition we have set for ourselves. So as a result of that, we have something called Customer Care 2.0, which is all founded on this principle of how can we remove the need for support for our customers. And if they need support, how can we make sure they can do it themselves? That way, you're in your house and you can solve your problems. You don't need MTN. And there are a number of things we're doing to get to that point. So very exciting. Just stay tuned and you will see some of these things coming to fruition very soon. As part of this, we're also transforming our call center so that certain things can happen a lot more simply for you, the customer, but also more effectively. So there are 4 things we're doing. We're optimizing our IVR menu to make sure we can improve how many people get services from the menu. And we've increased that already by about 13 percentage points by optimizing the menu, where you can get different services. We're also adding many more services to self-service. Self-service means you can do it yourself. So today there are a few things that you can do yourself. And we're adding a few more things. Some of the things we're adding, you can check your data balance. or your flexi activation. These are all things we're adding. You can solve over scratch card issues, but unfortunately we've stopped selling cards, so you won't need that anyway. Refill on bar, you all know what this problem is. My MTN app download, and then you can actually recharge via the IVR. These are all things we're bringing now so you can do things yourself. And because IVR is voice, you don't even need to read anything or do anything. We're also, to do all of this, we're improving the call center technology, and we're going to spend about $100,000 to do this. And so far, we're 50% in that project, and we hope to complete. Let me rephrase. We don't hope to complete. We are on track to complete by the end of the year. So these are just some of the statistics, again, on what we're doing on digital to try to continue to move things forward from that perspective. And with all the presentations that you've already done, I was very impressed with your understanding of our products and services, very impressed with your recommendations on what we should focus on. And I just want to assure you that the work you put in is not in vain. We will take all of this back, and we will look where we're not focused on the things you've said. We will take that back with us. And I can assure you, you'd see some improvement in the areas that you highlighted. So thanks again for your contributions. Doing for tomorrow today. Is that what it says? There's some things that when you receive, even when you don't understand it, you don't comment. So who can explain what this means? Doing for tomorrow today. Okay. Okay, so it says some of the things that we're going to do in the future, we should start doing today. Anyone else? Gina, what does it mean? This came from Gina. Where is Gina? Is she here? Gina, where are you? What does doing for tomorrow today mean? Gina is not expecting this. Now I put her on the spot. Let her explain it.
Yes, so we want to see a better future for Ghana and for the continent. And whatever we want to see, we have to do it today. So we are doing today what we want to see tomorrow.
Hey, you see, this one is very good. I didn't explain it because I would have said the wrong thing. Thank you, Gina, and thanks again. It's exactly what you said. Okay, so let's talk about some of our contributions to development here in Ghana. Our contributions, not just financially, but also socially. MTN today has about 250,000 mobile money agents. I believe we have about 175,000, okay, let's call it 150,000 resellers of recharge. We have over 220,000 merchants. So if someone is adding 250 plus 150 is 400. 400 plus 220 is 620,000. Just those three segments. Over 600,000 jobs that we've created. I think we deserve a big round of applause. But this is the essence of what we do. Is how do we improve the quality of life of Ghanaians? And to improve quality of life means we contribute to the fundamentals of economic growth. And fundamentals includes jobs, creating hope. These jobs help people run families. These jobs help educate people. These jobs help feed us. It helps keep us healthy. There are so many implications of what a job does. So the 620,000 in itself is not what we should celebrate, but is what this 620,000 has allowed us to do in this economy, in this country, that we should celebrate. But in addition to that, we've also contributed, last year alone, 3.1 billion Ghana cedis to different governmental institutions, including tax, different levies, as part of our contribution to Ghana's development. Taxes alone, our contribution was about 4.4% of total taxes received. So if you divide that by 100, if you had 20 companies, 25 companies like MTN would have contributed the total tax collection of Ghana. How many companies do you think Ghana has? Many companies, right? So that's our contribution. We'll continue to make sure that's an important part of our business, and we'll continue to do our part to contribute towards Ghana's development. But in COVID, something became very apparent. The fact that local supply chains were underdeveloped, the fact that we had a huge dependency on imports. But even before COVID passed, what happened? Russia, Ukraine. And I was shocked when I learned that all the brodo have been eaten, not knowing the wheat came from Ukraine. Who knows the population of Ukraine? I'm not sure. Someone can Google it. I think it's 40 million or something. Now, developing our local supply chains is extremely important. We have to invest backwards into our supply chain. It's called backward integration, so that we can grow these local supply chains. Today, 78% of our vendors are local, and 75% of our spend is also local. Now, remember, telecoms is a infrastructure business where you have to invest in infrastructure. We don't really have manufacturers of equipment and things like that in Ghana. So there are things that we cannot source locally. And these are all some of the things we need to start thinking about. Not all those components are so sophisticated that we can't build in Ghana ourselves. And creating industry for some of these things going forward are some of the areas we need to look at to try to support. But outside of that, there are so many other things we can do locally, and we need to start thinking about how we build that supply chain to be more local, but with some conditions. We cannot be patriotic and nationalistic if we don't work towards the right standards. So someone would say, I didn't buy my brother's shoe, but shoe no, me tona me share, me tiashi, shoe na chiachi, minti minto. The shoe has to be designed and produced to a certain standard, so that I have no incentive to go and buy it somewhere else. So our local supply chain has to work towards those standards. If you want to compete in a global purchasing environment, then your standards has to be global. If you want to compete in a regional purchasing environment, your standards have to be regional. But you can't expect to compete just because you're Ghanaian. You have to develop your goods and your services to the right standards, then you can compete. I know a company that supplies maize to Nestle, and I'm involved in that company. And up until 5 or 6 years ago, Nestle had been buying maize from abroad. And we produce a lot of corn and maize in this country. Why? Because no one could guarantee a certain standard of maize, of corn. Isn't that sad? So these are some of the things we need to think about, and we need to carry. How do we develop our local supply chains? And to do that, we have to work and live to certain standards. So I challenge your support to push that message We continue to support, but we also need the local supply chain to support us by meeting the standards that are minimum requirements for us. We should be winding down soon. Here we talk a little bit about social investments. Beyond our contribution to government, beyond job creation, beyond supporting local supply chains, we also directly invest in corporate social projects and initiatives. And so far we've invested 157 initiatives, 87 of them are in the education space, and then 40-something in health, and then the balance in economic empowerment. These are all things that we take a big responsibility for and will continue to support. This year we're investing about 20 million Ghana cedis in corporate social investments in these three areas. Okay. So just to wind down on this section, and we should be bringing the presentation to an end shortly, I'm going to share a few pictures of some of the things we've done in corporate social investments in the last few years. Apologies for that. So these are just pictures, looking at some of the places, education, Denchira Boabenso. We have a school there that we've just finished some work on. Finally, all of this we're talking about, all the good things we've done in 25 years, everything we've talked about, at the end of the day, there are people behind it. And without people, none of this will happen. And I think before we talk about people, I think the people deserve a big round of applause for their contribution to all of this. So, we have 4 things we're thinking about now. Doing for tomorrow, today. Is that what you said, Gina? We launched a new employee value proposition. Again, we're moving to a platform business, which is not a telco, but a techco, which is a technology company. So moving from a telco to a techco. That means we have to change the way we do things internally. We cannot work like a telco when we want to be a techco. So the new value proposition coincided with our new strategy, Ambition 2025. And there are a number of things that we're trying to promote here as well. Apart from building the culture to match this new proposition, the second pillar is also looking at talent for the future, what it takes to build that talent for the future. We're also looking at ESG, environmental, social, and governance at the core. This is a very important area. We talk about diversity, having more women, because women are powerful. I'm sure the women will agree. Women, are you powerful? You're powerful, right? I don't hear any. You see, that's why the men take it all the time, because the men will be shouting by now. If I say men are powerful, you hear the noise in the room. Men are powerful? Yeah. Women are more powerful? Yeah. Women, I mean, come on. Women are more powerful? Yes. You boys are hungry. Okay. Let's finish up. We have about 3 more slides to go. So, these are the 4 things we're looking at when it comes to our people to prepare us for Ambition 2025. And I've just walked through building culture, talent, ESG, and then making sure that MTN is a great place for all of us to work. Industry updates. You know most of this already. But SIM re-registration, I'm sure you all know the deadline for SIM re-registration. What's the deadline for SIM re-registration? July 31st. Okay. And I hope all of you in this room, 1st of July, no, it's 31st of July. And I hope all of you in this room, don't go and spread wrong information. All of you in this room have done your linkage and your bio capture, right? Okay, great. Because I'll personally disconnect you on July 31st. So, today we've done just about 60% of our subscribers have linked, and about 40% have done bio capture. So we're way behind. So we need a lot of energy around SIM registration so that we don't disconnect our customers. Beyond SIM re-registration, we're also working on a number of projects in collaboration with government. We are building an ICT hub for government. An ICT hub is a nice building. This one will be about 2 or 3 floors that allows us to offer different digital services, from training, supporting SMEs. When they have business ideas, they can come there and we can help them. And also educating the youth on digital skills. And we're hoping to get to a point where we can share what this will look like in about a month or 2. The work is going on now. We're also helping government in collaboration with a company called McKinsey & Company, who are a consulting firm, to design something called the Accra Innovation City Project. The whole idea is to build a technology area where all these companies, Twitter, Google, Microsoft, can come and set up so that they launch their regional businesses from Ghana, creating jobs, training our people, building skills, and also paying taxes here in Ghana. Ghana Cares program and Girls in ICT, you've seen our support for Girls in ICT. Again, not only ESG, but ensuring that our ICT skills are not only biased towards men, but also to women, right? The women are asleep. Okay, last slide. Our key messages for today. Just a big summary of everything I've said today. MTN continues to lead in voice and data, according to global benchmark studies that looked at all operators in Ghana. Over 15 micro apps today already in Ayoba and counting, and these are all developed by local developers. 306 touch points built to improve customer experience within communities. Making good progress on the innovation hub that we talked about, or digital hub. And of course, since we're spending the 220 million, we're on track to spend the 1 billion by 2025. 78% of our customers, of our vendors, are Ghanaian, so supporting the local supply chain. And we should have 4G on every single site by the end of 2022. Everywhere you go, 4G, or 4G everywhere you go. And then finally, we'll continue to expand our contribution towards our fiscal obligations, 3.1 billion last year, and hopefully we can do more this year. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed the presentation. I am sure Nat will coordinate questions and answers. I'll be more than happy with my team to answer questions that you would have. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you very much to our CEO. Please, another big round of applause for you.